Another big story this week is the scandal involving the CIA and the Senate Intelligence Committee. The CIA allegedly snooped on Senate staffers investigating Bush-era torture allegations. Some are saying this is a constitutional crisis involving the core American doctrine of separation of powers. Lee Larson, is that an overstatement, or is it really that serious?
Well, I think the only people that think this is a constitutional crisis are David Corn and the rest of the progressive movement, which tend to overlook any other constitutional crisis that has popped up with the Obama administration and the expansion of the executive powers when it benefits them. I don't think this is. I think anything in Washington, if you scratch it just below the surface, you're going to find a political agenda, and that's what this argument is all about. There's a political agenda. The staffers on the Intelligence Committee have been, I guess, peeved would be the best explanation, over the last couple of years on how long it's taken the CIA to agree to get a report out on the operation known as rendition, which was the transporting of terrorists to foreign countries where they were interrogated. It's taken a long time. They seem to have found a way of getting an internal report that the CIA didn't release, that was for internal use only, and took that off-site from the agreed-upon security area. The CIA, I'm speculating, probably researched to find out what computer and who accessed that. This isn't a constitutional crisis. This is two kids in the sandbox fighting to see who's going to be the tough one and who's going to get control of the sandbox. It's not a constitutional crisis.
Would you like to comment?
Yeah, I would disagree very strongly, Leif. I mean, I think that Dianne Feinstein she's the head of the chair of the Senate Intelligence Committee. This isn't someone who's known for kind of being, a progressive privacy advocate. She's more of a conservative-leaning senator in reality when you look at her positions. And she's been one who's been vocal against Edward Snowden and a very kind of vocal supporter of mass surveillance also. So when it comes from her that the CIA has been hacking their computers, has been hacking Senate computers, and sabotaging a investigation on the CIA itself that the CIA carried out in these torture programs during the Bush era, I think that's very serious, and we should take that seriously. This is a very unlikely messenger. I've been somewhat disappointed in Obama's kind of dropping of the issue. He has downplayed it and has refused to get involved. I think this is kind of a throwback to the COINTELPRO days, really, where the FBI and the CIA were spying on everyone from senators to activists to Martin Luther King Jr. to ordinary citizens. It was completely unconstitutional, and this is unconstitutional, and it's illegal. And I would like to see, between this and the NSA scandals, I think it's very clear that we have an out-of-control intelligence services, and we need to rein them in. We need to bring them back to accountability. Because if they can do these kinds of things, then they really aren't answering to anyone.
And Katie, would you like to comment?
Yeah, I agree with you. I think it is illegal and unconstitutional. However, I think we should take a step back. And we can't really have a constitutional crisis unless we have a government that abides by the Constitution and respects its boundaries, which we don't. We have a completely lawless government. We have branches, fighting for power over one another to the detriment of the American people, both, Democrats, Republicans, Independents alike. So while this is a serious problem, it's rather a symptom of very bad disease that's taken hold of our government rather than, a disease itself.
Interesting. Would you like to comment, Ben?
Well, I would agree with a lot of what's been said. I agree with Leif that it's not a constitutional crisis, but I also agree with you that we have to be careful that things don't get. We're going on a dangerous road with the improved technology that we have today, and past presidents of violating the powers of the intelligence agencies within our borders. There's a lot to be afraid of. Now, in this specific case, I don't think that what the CIA has done in terms of searching. They were searching the computers of the Senate committee to find documents that the Senate had unintentionally or perhaps unlawfully taken from the CIA, right? Obtained from the CIA. So that specific issue, I don't think is a crisis. But I think in the broader question of whether the CIA can conduct searches on Senate computers is a major concern, and it's something we need to come up with rules to prevent that in the future.
Really quickly, it's a violation of the separation of powers. It's very clear.
Sure.
Violation of accountability. And also, it's not an isolated incident. President Truman created the CIA in 1947. Ever since then, a man called Allen Dulles took control in 1953. He turned it into really an operationally focused agency instead of what Truman intended it to be, which was an intelligence gathering agency. Truman, Eisenhower, and Kennedy all tried to rein in the CIA with little effect. So it's not something that's kind of out of historical context. It's really something that's been run amok for a long time.